All right, welcome back everybody to Altcoin Daily, where you subscribe for a video on cryptocurrency every day and every morning. Some days you just don't sleep, especially today. I think you're really going to like today's video. I've compiled some of the major headlines, some of the most important pieces of news that I've found for cryptocurrency. I think it's important that I clue you in. Before we get to that, like always, let's check out Bitcoin and where we stand in the crypto market. As you can see, today is seemingly a recovery day / stabilization day from that little flash crash that we saw yesterday with Bitcoin and the altcoins. Of course, over the last 24 hours, Bitcoin's still down about 6%, Ethereum down 14%, and EOS, the biggest loser in the top 10, down over 18%. Of course, that's all relative because EOS was also one of the biggest gainers that we saw in this little rally over the last 4 or 5 days. Let's zoom in on Bitcoin. This is Bitcoin, the price of Bitcoin over the last month, and this is that flash crash we saw just yesterday with the Bitcoin price dipping from 4,200, bouncing off of 3,800, and now seemingly starting to recover. Of course, the big question on everybody's mind is, are we stabilizing to then retest these higher resistance levels, or is this a falling knife? And would you be a fool to try and catch it right now? Let me know what you think in the comments. I really would be interested to know what you think. But something that I found interesting to me is that we're still very much up compared to where we started this month. What this flash crash did, it did erase all these positive gains that we saw, that we had seen since February 17th. But the price of Bitcoin, everything from February 17th and before, we're still up. One more thing of note that I found kind of significant is that volume, it's never been higher, relatively speaking, compared to what we've seen for the longest time. It's not, unusual for volume to spike up when the price spikes up or spike up when the price spikes down. But ever since February 8th, as the price of Bitcoin spiked, volume maintained, relatively speaking, spiked up again, volume maintained. It was at the $7 billion per day volume. And then volume right now, even 24 hours later, off of this little flash crash, it's still never been higher. To me, this suggests that going one way or the other, we could see some big movement in very near short term. To me, I'm going to keep you updated. That's why you subscribe to this channel. But let's get to the news. The 10 most important accounts on the XRP ledger. Do you know the 10 most important accounts? Big data analyst and Forbes contributor Thomas Silkjar is dissecting the XRP ledger to uncover new details on what's happening behind the scenes. By applying Google's PageRank algorithm, which is traditionally used to rank websites by popularity, Silkjar has created a look at what he calls the most important XRP accounts in 2016, 2017, and 2018. The thing that he uncovered, and most of these are exchanges. Poloniex was the biggest one in 2016. There's Bittrex in 2016. A lot of unknown addresses as well, all through the years. But the biggest change was Binance came into play in 2017, made the top 6 and 7, and now Binance is, according to this list, one of the most important accounts / holders of XRP. To me, this says a whole lot more about Binance than it does about XRP, because it makes sense that people would want to keep their coins on an exchange that offers the most liquidity, which Binance does. But my question to you is, who are these unknown addresses that hold this XRP? Who do you think it is? Another piece of bullish news, if you hold XRP, you're going to like this. A Ripple partner is integrating XRP-based payments to the Middle East and Canada. So we have more of a use case for XRP implementation coming by middle of this year. International currency exchange provider Mercury FX says it plans to open up as many as 10 new payment corridors using Ripple's XRP-based XRapid by the middle of this year. So 10 new establishments are going to be using XRapid, which does use XRP. This information just got revealed at Ripple's regional 2019 conference in London by CEO Alastair Constance. He revealed that the company will use XRapid to power payments from the UK to Canada and the Middle East in the near future, in addition to Mexico and Philippines. So more of a use case for XRP. And what I found interesting is this quote from that CEO in terms of how and why customers would find value in this. I think from a customer point of view, you almost don't want to show them too much of the technology or explain too much of why it's working as it is. I don't understand how a car works, but if it parks for me, that would be even better. And I think it's the same kind of thing. Why would customers see value in this, in XRP? But what they are seeing, they're not seeing how XRP works, but what they are seeing is payments arriving in 1/100th of the time, and they're paying a lot less, if anything, for it. And I think that's key. And you know what? I tend to agree. I don't think a lot of people, especially as we're reaching adoption, they don't necessarily want to know or care to know how blockchain works. I think it's interesting. You think it's interesting. But if they're getting, the first step is seeing cheaper, faster transactions, which is the value that these companies are giving to their customers using XRapid. Bullish news. Next piece of news, possibly even, this might be the most bullish news we've seen in the last week, 2 weeks. Goldman Sachs sees cryptocurrency accounts as part of the bank of the future. Outrageous piece of news to me for a few reasons, because just at the end of August last year, outrageous piece of news to me because it was just in the August of last year that Bitcoin falls after Goldman Sachs reported that it was dropping its plans to open a trading desk for cryptocurrencies. Of course, this was bearish news at the time, Goldman Sachs backing out of what was reported to be awesome news. And now they say that they do see cryptocurrency accounts as part of banks of the future. Goldman Sachs recently published a video insights on how future banking should look like. And the bank sees cryptocurrency accounts as part of the bank of the future. In a recent video, the bank official tells that banks must follow the latest fintech, including the cryptocurrency accounts developments, because it is right and a recognized tool to scale efficiency. Very interesting. Maybe Goldman Sachs is getting back into it. If they actually pull the trigger on this, and they move right along with Fidelity, and you could argue JP Morgan, I could definitely see this happening. They don't want to get left behind. What I hope this isn't, I hope they're not just trying to follow the JP Morgan private centralized coin to add efficiency for their accounts. I think that would be positive in the short term because they would have the blockchain buzzword attached to their name. But in the long term, I think it's very clear people aren't going to want something that's centralized and that private. We'll see. I mean, either way, both would be a net positive for cryptocurrency in the short term. Keep this in mind, Ethereum's Constantinople and St. Petersburg upgrade is set to occur this week. It's going to be around February 28th. I just want to put it on your radar. We've talked about this a lot. It's finally coming up. It's going to have multiple efficiency improvements, and the thing I'm most excited about, or I should say people are most excited about, or maybe not excited about, the thing that's talked about the most is decrease of Ethereum's block reward. So miners are going to go from earning 3 blocks of Ethereum, 3 Ethereum per block, to 2 Ethereum per block. Oftentimes when the supply is decreased like this, the value goes up with Ethereum. We'll see. Either way, it's finally set to happen. It's been delayed multiple times. It's finally set to happen around this Thursday, the 28th. Whether you like Ethereum or not, this is a big upgrade that's been talked a lot for probably the last year with the Ethereum community. I'm very eager to see on how this plays out for the price of Ethereum and what that does to bring more developers onto the Ethereum platform. It's going to be interesting. Just wanted to put that on your radar. Next piece of news. They say there's no use case for cryptocurrency. I beg to differ. Gambling is one of the biggest and only use cases, not only, but one of the biggest use cases that people are getting value out of with cryptocurrency right now. Quick piece of news. People were making predictions on an Augur-based platform, Veil. And many people, this article came out mid-yesterday before the results, many people were betting that Bohemian Rhapsody would be the big winner for Best Movie. If those people would have been right, and Bohemian Rhapsody would have won Best Picture, they would have got 128 ETH. Of course, Green Book won. Both great movies. Green Book was great. If you haven't seen it, check it out. But people were betting on this year's 91st Academy Awards. Just a little fun piece of news, I thought. Ontology news, and again, if you're getting any value from today's video, feel free to give it a like. It really does just help me grow as a channel. I would really appreciate it. Ontology news. Ontology launches development platform on Google Cloud, Amazon Web Services, and Microsoft Azure. What will this do? It's going to give everybody, companies and developers that are on Google and Amazon and Microsoft Cloud services, it's going to give them a chance to experiment with Ontology and to develop on Ontology, which is, say what you want about Ontology, but they're making some pretty significant moves in this bear market. Using the Ontology development platform on one of these cloud providers allows you to play around with and develop smart contracts without having to go through the fuss of configuring and setting up an environment locally. Bullish news for Ontology. I'm looking forward to over the next couple of weeks and months seeing what developers and people that are already on Microsoft and Amazon and Google say about the platform. Bullish news for Ontology. Two more pieces of news. Actually, this is not a piece of news at all. Last piece of news. This is, I don't know, big if you're a Tron holder. Anything with a hard fork is big. Tron will hard fork. This was just announced. Coming up at the end of February, which is just this week, coming up at the end of this week, Tron's about to hard fork. Tron will debut a host of upgrades via a hard fork at the end of this month. According to Sun, the hard fork will deliver institutional handling capabilities as well as other features such as multi-signature abilities and account management options. This is that tweet. If you're not following us on Twitter, make sure you do it. That's where you get the most up-to-date information. There's a link to our Twitter down below in the description. This is the tweet. Tron will launch 3.5 hard fork, so upgrade 3.5, on 2/28, so also this Thursday, directly competing with Ethereum, I guess. New features will be multi-sig and account management, making it institution ready, and performance upgrades, better virtual machine safety, and event server for dApps. So I guess the purpose of this upgrade, I think the big words are institutional ready. Multi-sig is going to make each transaction more secure. Account management, I guess, is directly for institutions. Wanted to clue you in. If you're a Tron holder, this is bullish news. Like I said, good day for news. Let me know in the comments what you took the most value from. Really appreciate you guys tuning in, and make sure you subscribe to not only this and our Twitter to stay up to date. All right. My name's Austin, by the way, if I didn't mention that, and I'll see you tomorrow.